Saturday evening. Just decided to do a stream. Open panel. Come up and talk, hang out, etc. Also, a little bit of an update. I'm trying to be transparent with this project. So, Chris and I tried to have our talk today off stream. There were a few other people kind of there for support. It did not go well. And it turns out that Chris had decided to record the thing without any of us knowing. And that was a big line for me, for several reasons. I don't I can never have another conversation with him now in private without wondering if it's being recorded. So that cuts off every avenue of possibility to resolve this other than live on a stream, which I don't want on my stream anymore because we've attempted that enough times. Hey, Daniel Barry. And so the only option to resolve this is live on somebody else's panel, like bring our drama to somebody else's panel. And that's where it's at right now. So for me, it was a line. I'm owning this. I will take responsibility and accountability for everything that happened. We had a good run. I stand by everything about the beginning of it up until the point where, and people can see on stream, they've even commented and come to me and said that commented. You can kind of see in the stream where things start to decline or break down. I'll take accountability for it, and I am choosing to end the collaboration, particularly based on what happened tonight, and I will take responsibility for that. And so it's a solo project again, officially. That's it, like with finality. And so it's just me and whoever from the community shows up and wants to keep this going. So if you want to come on, talk about something, come on up. I'll check the news. And by the way, Chris did say that he didn't plan to record it. It was kind of a spontaneous thing. And hey, midlife, what's up? And that he did end up deleting it. He wasn't going to use it, and he kind of wanted to learn from it and get a objective perspective. So I'll grant him all of that, and I think that I think that probably yes, he ultimately did try to do the right thing, but the fact that he did it at all, for me, it whatever little trust was there is that was the final hammer blow to it. So, but I do think that his channel is worth supporting. I think he did bring a lot to this community. I have everybody's free to make their own choices and decisions. People are free to support Chris. I encourage support for his channel. Everything. There's no, on my part, there's no animosity. There's no, I wish him the best. I just can't collab. Like, I am choosing to end the collaboration, but not on any kind of hostile terms. It got hostile in our conversation today, but as far as my stance toward Chris as a person and his work and what he's tried to do, I support that. I encourage you to support it if it's something that you enjoy or that you want to support. And so hopefully things can stay there and the community at least can continue and move on. What's up, midlife? I don't know if you heard me the other day about Brokeback. I've been trying to watch it, but man, it's rough. It's bad. You keep making me watch movies that I've lived through that have me face demons that I'm tired of facing at this point. But I mean, the baby reindeer thing brought up so much stuff, and that I didn't even really get to go into because I don't know, it was a weird experience trying to even share it. And then the Brokeback thing too is that's when all like my whole trauma started. Believe it or not, I was more or less relatively normal until I lost my partner, and I watched him die, and I've never been the same since. That's when the PTSD started. It changes your brain. It's almost like a form of brain damage. Your amygdala, your alarm system gets like your hyperreactivity. Your alerts get set off at any little thing, like that hypersensitivity. It wasn't at that level before, and the hippocampus. One of them controls like your threat sensitivity, and the other controls the. That's why I go from like 0 to 90 on here all the time. I wasn't doing that before Mike. Like before I lost Mike, I would get into like one, maybe 2 conflicts a year that would even escalate to any kind of level. Like I was not this combative, confrontational person. I could be when I needed to, but it wasn't my norm. And after Mike, it was happening like 3 or 4 times a day, 7 or 8 times a week. Like the frequency of the times when I would it's a PTSD reaction. And then that's another thing I wanted to talk about from earlier today with the emotionality. There's so many reasons to not police people like me's emotions and to just let them be at the level they're at, because if you don't know what you're dealing with, it could be one of many different things. It could be autistic people have tantrums, they have meltdowns. People with PTSD can be having a trauma reaction. There's emotional flashbacks, there's visual flashbacks that could all be part of the trauma reaction. With me, a lot of times it's emotional flashbacks. I'm reliving a prior experience that was similar, and I'm re-experiencing the emotion, or the emotion I'm having around this experience is being magnified by the memory of the emotion from the past experience. But it's not, I'm not visually reliving in this experience in my mind. I'm emotionally reliving it. And that's an emotional flashback. So it can be many different things, but the most important reason for me is because when my emotions rise in level, I need to process those emotions. I tried to explain it to a boss one time that she actually called me into her office to ask me about this. She's like, tell me about your emotions. You say you have big emotions. And I said, yeah, I when an emotion hits me, whether it's anger, grief, sorrow, joy, I can laugh just as much as I can rant and rave. It hits me very deeply, very intensely. And I call them Beethoven emotions. It's like a Beethoven symphony of emotion, just this cascade of emotion. And I need to be able to process that emotion in its full depth and intensity to get the information from it that it's trying to give me. And if people move to reduce that, that is depriving me of the full data set from that emotion that I need. And so for that reason, I need to have those emotions. That's my fire. That I'm a Satanist. That's another thing I think y'all are overlooking. My morality about things might be a little bit different from yours. And that's my passion is very important to me. That is my satanic fire. And if you fuck with the Satanist fire, you get the consequences you get. In fact, I was looking at some of the satanic rules today. Hang on. Yeah, they're called the 11 Satanic Rules of the Earth, and they're from Anton LaVey, the guy that developed the Church of Satan back in 1966. And I don't follow all of them, but there's 2 in particular that kind of stood out to me. When in another's lair, show him respect, or else do not go there. That's one reason I don't go back on some of these panels that I've been having these issues with. It's a way of showing them respect and not going there. And the following one is, if a guest in your lair annoys you, treat him cruelly and without mercy. And I hope that I do that here and that I can model that and demonstrate that. So don't fuck with the Satanist if you don't know what you're fucking with, because our social code might be very different from yours. And if you come at me with some bullshit, you will get bullshit back. You will get fireballs of it. And if you try to shut my fire down when I'm trying to like process it and get the insight I need from it, if you raise my demon, be prepared to handle it. Like if you, and that's one way to bring out the demon is to try to shut it down. So, anyway, back to the PTSD and the trauma thing. Oh, hey, TW. Well, I, I don't know you. I'm willing to believe you are too. I hope you are, and I'm going to imagine that you are. And I love your emojis. Happy Pride too. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. And oh, I was talking about like the threat level sensitivity goes up, and then I think it's the hippocampus. Um, it controls your memories, like keeping your memories chronologically aligned and keeping the past in the past and your sense of the present, present, etc. And that kind of gets out of whack. And it's called intrusive memories, like very vivid memories from the past can suddenly intrude into the present in your brain in response to a trauma trigger. And that, coupled with the emotional flashbacks and the hyperreactivity and threat sensitivity, it could be PTSD reaction too. And the frequency of that went way up after the trauma um, than before it. And it's been that way ever since. Like it's hard keeping jobs. It's hard keeping relationships, and friendships, relationships, streams, panel people, everything. It's a certain intensity. Like I said, the first job I got fired from in my life ever. Every job I've worked, everywhere else but Seattle, I was a valued employee. They were very happy to have me there. They appreciated me. We all worked together as a team. This was the first job I've had where I was doing great work. I was doing probably better work. It's never the work performance. In fact, the work performance seems to actually be an issue because they make comments about me outworking everybody or setting higher standards for the workplace than they're used to. So it's definitely not a work issue. Because I can usually do the work of 2 or 3 people and not even notice I'm doing it. Like that's my normal pace. So if you have me in a workplace, I'm usually going to take on duties beyond what a normal scope would be because that's just my natural mode and I won't even realize I'm doing it. So I don't mind going in there and doing the work of 2 or 3 people. But it's always this interpersonal stuff, this drama triangle, Cartman drama triangle, or communication breakdown or whatever. And it ends up with something happening and somehow I'm the instigator of it. There's somebody that's being affected by it, and then there's somebody that's trying to kind of white knight or protect or defend or rally around the person that's being affected. Even if rationally I'm not doing it, it makes no, it's an emotional, remember our emotional story myth-based way of thinking developed way before our rational way. So I'm really good, maybe temperamentally or maybe through experience, with having the emotions and the reactions and still having the rationality to process it in the moment as it's happening. But that could be like an acquired skill. So I think maybe people's natural mode is to get caught up in the story, and then that rationality comes gradually or later or in time. And so people get locked up into like story mode, and everything becomes about. And stories are often, especially when they involve heightened emotion, are often very dramatic and hyperbolic and everything. And I become the villain, like this cartoon villain, and everything becomes cartoonized. And that's another comment I wanted to make the other day when I was talking about romance, like the kind of the romantic way of looking at things, or the idealistic way and the realistic way of looking at things. And you know when you're in that romance quadrant, when things become kind of cartoonized or grotesque, and people's stories start to become more one-dimensional and more like maybe fairy tales or folk tales where everything's kind of more black and white and caricatured, or like villains are more ridiculous and larger than life when they would be in person. Like you lose a lot of interpersonal nuance. Like if you're reading a fantasy novel, it's harder to really put the emphasis on the characterization and get the same effect of the, like, have the wonder and enchantment that draws you to the fantasy in the first place, the romance, be the dominant feature at the same time. So it's easier to like explore characterization in a more realistic setting, and Shakespeare was very good at that in his plays, and the novelists that followed him did like very in-depth character portraits in their novels, etc. um, than it is in like a genre like science fiction or romance, where it has to compete with the conventions of the genre itself. And so that's kind of one way you can tell if you're in the romance quadrant or the realistic quadrant, where it's a more critical, analytical, kind of aesthetically distant, objective way of looking, or third party way of looking at something. I hope all of that made sense. I'm really just trying to fill in time until somebody hops on the panel, if they do. Let me check the news. Not, Israel, Gaza. I don't see anything about any trials, so maybe that took a break for the weekend. Um, no, doesn't look like anything newsworthy. Who's streaming tonight? And TW or midlife, if either of you want to come up, please do. Let's get a conversation going. The community is still intact. I intend to keep this going as long as there's a need for it. By the way, I set up a Ko-fi donation page today. It's in the banner at the bottom. I guess I should put it in the chat. Um, hang on, I'm still learning the website, so let me find the link. Oh, I think I just do this. So anyway, if it's like a tip jar, if you feel like throwing something in or whatever, until we get monetized, it's a way of helping me keep this going, since I'm a one-man show right now. And I also have to, I have to generate some kind of income, and I was like thinking part-time job, but the every time I go to actually do that, it seems like there's so many, like there's more barriers than I'm willing to tolerate for a part-time job. Let's put it that way. And there's just a lot of resistance building up, and that maybe that's not the path forward. And so I thought of doing something like landscaping, like just I want to do something manual and outdoors, landscaping or mowing grass, or I don't know, maybe like the hiking trails or trail repair or something like that. So if I'm able to do that and get some extra income in, I can start putting more into the channel. But in the meantime, this link is like a little stopgap solution until we get monetized. Which I can't tell if we're going up or down anymore, because the numbers keep fluctuating lately based on all the twists and turns. So that's it. I really got. Oh, I was seeing who was streaming. I really don't have much more, unless you have questions or topics that you want to bring up. Machine is streaming. Antichrist burnout. I can relate. I'm feeling it too. 5.5, Freudo-fascist, Jungian punks, the philosophy of crypto-cartography. It's machine lies, based oracle, and neurojack. In fact, I don't think he'd mind if we watch. You don't want to? Let's check in on machine.
Of like Yeah.
The setup, like you said, like I don't think it's wrong to give these people any attention whatsoever, but I do think that, like you said, that like there's a difference for me. It's like I have a dark sense of humor. I always have. My
Yeah.
mom had a dark sense of humor. Like I get it, you know.
I as well.
But like when I had like one of my best friends, we used to make each other laugh extremely. I'm just using this as an example, right? And then he started making these like dead baby jokes, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure you've heard them, and I'm not going to repeat them, but you know, I just don't find it funny, right? And I just
Come on, I love a good dead baby joke. Repeat them. What is this generation coming to?
refuse to even pretend that it is funny, right?
I agree.
And this became a major rift in our relationship because I was just like, look, you know, I get that you think it's funny and it's a dark humor, and I'm not saying that it's quote
I think I just blew another one up. Sorry. Again, Satanist.
unquote too far. What I'm saying is it's not funny, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can say whatever. Like, I mean, you know, my whole reason for enjoying the alt right, where they're talking about, you know, 6 gorillion or whatever, you know, like it's morbid humor, but I saw that there was a purpose behind it, right? And I know that that may seem strange to people who don't.
He sees a purpose behind everything, but there's not a purpose with me. Like when I'm doing it, it's totally just because it's funny. Yeah, I don't think I should keep streaming him because I'm not gonna be able to keep my reactions in bounds. All right, let's see who else. Flo was streaming earlier. Ken streamed earlier. I'm scared to watch it because you never know what content you get. Oh, and it's Mel's birthday. The lady from Stoned and Alone. Uncle Fatty's there. Resto Chesto. Maybe we could check in on Mel. Let's wish her happy birthday. Second. Oh, hang on.
Don't underestimate me. I'm you 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 don't
Yeah,
want to
you
fight
talk my
me.
head off.
I'm a I would rather not fight. How about that?
Oh wait, Lauren's in chat. I gotta bully Lauren.
Yeah,
Lauren,
Lauren.
time yourself. Oh, she's a mod. Lauren, time yourself out.
It was
Time
chaos,
yourself out,
but we're back to a calm panel. Pardon me.
Yeah.
So, who just left?
Frank, I found your boobs.
Hey,
Fatty.
come back,
You
man.
missed
What are you
me.
doing?
Come
No,
quick.
I'm not getting Gamer back on. I'm not doing it because that was just too much. As much as I invited Gamer, I did, but if I knew that it was going to be like this, I would have maybe not done it.
It's really good to see other panels have drama too. I love her cross. Like that's worth the boob. Like boobs are worth it just for a cool backdrop to a nice piece of jewelry like that. That's what I learned from that video. If you had a nice like I don't know Baphomet or satanic pentacle, you know it'd look really good. A cloven hoof hanging from a chain. Like I think a boob would make a nice or boobs. Sorry, shows how much I know. All right. Well, one reason I started this was because I was looking for panels myself, and it looked slow tonight. It was like hardly anybody was streaming. I'm like, oh well, it's a perfect night to do a panel. Maybe other people will want one too. But the alternative, which is the reality I'm going with, because I'm an optimist, is it's summer and everybody's finally touching. This is like the touch grass season, and that's why it's slow. And if that's the case, I welcome the slowness. I'm glad that it's slow because it means people are out there getting some balance in their lives, thriving in reality, hopefully. And I'm trying to find that myself. We're having a slow summer. I think today was our very first day. Like it was the first day I was in shorts and a t-shirt. and actually like a little bit moist from sweat. It was cold and rainy up till now. And so I think that it's going to finally start to get hiking season. And maybe I can find some hiking buddies this year, or camping buddies. So if any of you in the area and like to hike and camp, and we had talked of maybe planning a panel camping trip somewhere, like somewhere central to whoever is interested in getting whoever in the panelverse together and streaming it, of course. But anyway, I like I would do it. I'm up for stuff like that. I used to run a camping group for a while, so I would be very into that. Well, I don't have a lot built up. I don't want to do nerd topics tonight. I just want to keep it light and third spacey, third place. Community building. Which that's another going back to the breakdown of trust thing, and like recording conversations, how it can break down trust. I think it's bad on a community level, because community is built on that kind of individual trust between members, and when that gets compromised, it's not just that moment or that individual that gets affected. The whole community ethos then kind of has to decide what they want to do with this information. I don't know. I know that it sets up a situation for me where from this point forward, any private conversation we would have, it would be in the back of my mind: is this recorded? Is this going to be recorded and somehow show up somewhere in some other context? Like, which anything on YouTube can happen, but there's kind of a set of expectations when you're having conversations off stream, because you're having them for a reason, because you want to talk about things that you don't necessarily want captured on YouTube. So then to have that be vulnerable to being captured too without someone's knowledge, it's the trust part that keeps community together that I think took a hit for me tonight. And y'all know my bottom line here: adult people making choices, making decisions, however you want to frame it, whatever story you want to tell of it. Some of the facts of those stories are going to involve choices and decisions being made at certain points, plot points, character points, whatever. Adults, people that have reached the level of at least legal personal responsibility, if not emotional and psychological. So that's my take on all of this. Well, I don't know if I'm getting a panel tonight, but the viewers who are hanging out, thank you. I sure appreciate it. It's what keeps me going, believe it or not. I feel inadequate now that I have no worthy content. Let me check my history. Maybe there's a video or two I can play, and then if no one shows up, I can wind it down. I should have a little connection, a little collection of filler to play. I do. I will say that somebody did support the channel today, and I'm not sure if they want to be identified or what. So, but I like some of the channels have little videos for when they get super chats or donations, and they play a little video kind of recognizing the person. So I want to start getting stuff like that too. And there is a person that stepped up in a kind of big way to keep this going for a little bit. And hey Bex, and I do want that person acknowledged if they choose to be, and I'd like to make like a little special clip or something for that as well. So thank you. It's at least gonna it's fueled for a little while, thanks to the Ko-Fi site. So hey Bex, are y'all still watching your movie? It doesn't look like, I think our theory was right, that it's summer and people have lives. There's just not a demand for a lot of indoor entertainment right now, or conversation. Even the shut-ins are touching grass. I think Frank's leaving the house tomorrow or this week. So that's an event. I think I saw a crawler on the news announcing it. There's going to be a rare Frank sighting, which is great, because if you are touching grass, stream a little bit of it. Like, bring some real world people into the Panelverse, corrupt them. Come on, y'all. I'm trying to raise proper Satanists here. And I'm still available for playing live action video game walkabout thing, like Paul did with Talcott the other day. I even thought about wearing my antlers. I used to wear these around Seattle all the time because nobody cared. But here, my roommate told me, I asked him, and he said he wasn't sure if it would be a risk or not. So there's really only one way to find out. So maybe I could walk around town with my antlers, and then somebody could collaborate with me through audio, and we can create some kind of experience. Also, guest, if you are, other people who have specific topics. I used to do these last year for Mental Health Month. And you want to like come for 30 minutes or an hour and present your topic and chat, and then maybe we could take callers and ask questions or stuff. I would definitely like to get more of that going, like little focused conversations with one or two guests around a specific topic with somebody from that background, or maybe a couple of points of view on a topic. And so if you're interested in that, let me know. I'm still going to do the third place things daily. I'm taking the day off tomorrow, although I may get the envie to stream at some point during the day. And what was the other thing? Oh, the topics and stuff, which I'm going to try to start finding a way to present more like content, maybe even bringing in graphics or charts or something. And then I want to do that series on peer support. And then so I'll set that up separately. Oh, and I think Outliers in Exile is changing. I'm going to do a new playlist. I may keep the Outliers in Hell title. I kind of like that. I'm going to rebrand this as more of a satanic channel, because I think I need to emphasize the satanic elements that people are missing, like strong male emotions, passion, fire, intensity, depth, intellectualism. Satan is part of that Western enlightenment tradition. And so a Western intellectual, all of that, I want emphasized here. So maybe that's going to be like a bulwark or a flaming pentagram against this anti-intellectualism and anti-emotionalism that I've been encountering in the Panelverse lately. And so you're going to have to step through flame to come hang out here. Yeah. So come on in, children's. So yeah, look for that. I'm going to start a new series with a new play, probably a few series, a content-based series, a third place series, and then some guest-oriented, like topic and guest-oriented panel series. So if you want to help with any of that, let me know. I'm open for collaboration, and that's it. Oh my God, it's almost midnight here. All right, I'm gonna make one more quick little swoop around the Panelverse and see. Nope, same people streaming that we peeked in on. All right, well, last call for panel. Otherwise, maybe see you tomorrow. We'll try to see you Monday, not making any promises. Hell, hey, Lindsay. I watched some of this like Snafu stream earlier. And I don't know, do you want to come up and talk? I don't if you want to come up, you can. I was just wrapping it up because nobody showed up. But I was gonna say I watched the Snafu stream thing and participated in the comments and gave my thoughts. I'm seeing it kind of like from the outside, so I can see little things on both sides. And we were supposed to have our Jung archetype conversation too, by the way. So this might be a good night for that if you want. Nobody's here. But otherwise, yeah, I think I will wrap it up. And I don't know when the next appearance is going to be. I have that one last topic that I want to wrap up on. It's actually it's kind of a hero's journey beyond the ego, like because the hero's journey is traditionally used is a specific pattern, and this is the way the Romantic poets used it. Opens up a few more possibilities beyond that traditional template. So, well, I'll finish sipping on my iced drink here because it's finally summer, I think. So I have to switch from hot drinks to cool drinks. Or I don't have to. I choose to. All right. Well, I'll take that as another day. We can do it. If you want. I'm trying to remember. It was about the like people's stories. There's several things that are related, or at least are purported to be related. Your psychology, like your inner story and cognitive processes around that, like how we fit facts into meaning. Your rhetoric, your speech, the language, the way you frame things. Remember, we talked about those explanatory styles, and your cosmology, your worldview, your sense of the world. Those things are all related, and like if any one of those things are different, that can cause the whole thing to be different. Like your psychology is related to how you see the world, is related to how you express that. We probably won't get into Bacon anytime soon, but I'm sure you're familiar with the four idols, and one of them is the idols of the marketplace, which are like the linguistic artifacts that crop up when people try to communicate. The idols are like cognitive biases that some of them are built into us as humans. Some of them are kind of acquired from those early stories that were told, and some of them are acquired through our interactions with each other as we try to navigate the nuances of language and the impressions it can create sometimes. And the idols of the cave, which are our personal, like we all have our personal history and story. Note, what is that noise? Oh, I hope it's my roommate. Like no two people or experiences or stories, or even if you grew up identical twins in the same household, your experience of the world is still not completely identical. So everybody has their own little personal. I hesitate to even call them biases because that connotation is so negative. Their own little personal slant to how they see things, and it's normal for us. It's our norm, and we don't know what it's like to be anything but that. And other people have what's normal to them, and they don't know what it's like to be anything but that. But those two things are not the same. So there's some kind of reconciliation between the two that has to happen in communication and interaction. All right. It looks like it's going to be a short stream tonight. Actually, 40 minutes. It's not bad of So I'll end and plan to see you all later, sometime next week, if not tomorrow. So have a good rest of your day, weekend, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Take care. Is the music on? Why is it are y'all hearing the music? Hang on, I can't close without my music. I don't. Oh, hang on. I see what happened. Anyway, good night, y'all. All right, cool. Rock on. All right, take care.